prognosis doesn't look good for Eden Hazard, who's set to miss a couple of months with an ankle problem that he picked up in the game against Levante, a defeat for Real Madrid, which has really made it a very crunch situation for them. But personally, let's start with Hazard. What a disappointing season it's been, because he's not going to see the field much between now and the end of the campaign, if at all.
Some people may underestimate the importance of actually having a full preseason in which you can prepare your body properly to what's ahead. Now, it is no secret that Eden Hazard, for whatever reason, came into Real Madrid overweight, carrying extra poundage, and did not quite have the full preseason that the other players would have had, and didn't quite lay the foundation of success for the rest of the year. It's a demanding schedule that a team like Real Madrid is going to have because of their involvement in many different competitions. And the expectations of what a player like Hazard is supposed to deliver, because mind you, whether he likes it or not, directly or indirectly, he was going to be the heir apparent to, Cristiano Ronaldo. It may have been a year later, but essentially that's where the connection is. You say, okay, Ronaldo's over there, Juventus is scoring a bunch of goals, Hazard is now going to come in and he's going to do something similar here at Real Madrid. Well, you don't come into preseason fully fit. You then start getting niggling injuries. You start getting sort of a hamstring here and a muscle there, and it's tight and so on and so forth. Your body is just not ready to withstand the demands of the season. It's not. It's because, as I said before, you haven't laid the foundation for success from the very beginning. Now, the latest injury has nothing to do with him not being in shape early on in the season, but it's just an accumulation of things. And what it does is just, it really gives a final blow to what has been a largely forgettable season for Eden Hazard. To the point to where there are some Real Madrid fans out there saying, you know what? Maybe better that he's not available this upcoming week, because he hasn't been all that great when he has played, and we maybe see better performances, more dynamic performances from other guys, whether that's Vinicius or Rodrigo or whoever the choice may be. That cannot be your super duper big signing that you're saying, maybe we're better off. Maybe you're trying to convince yourself, but maybe we're better off that he's not available, because maybe that gives an opportunity to other guys that have done a better job than Hazard has done this year.
With the money they spent and his age, and with his position being a forward player, a dynamic player, a player who's set the Premier League alight for so many years, this first season needed Hazard to come in flying, because next year it's going to be more difficult for him, isn't it? When he turns 30 as well, the pressure there to perform, it's an extra problem for him.
Yeah, and sometimes I don't quite understand the mentality of a player that this was supposed to be Hazard's dream move, right? And he knew this was happening because he had told Chelsea for a long time, hey, don't even bother. I'm going elsewhere. And if he was going elsewhere, he must have had an idea as to where he was going. Okay, fine. Then you have to make sure that, as you said, you come to Real Madrid and you're ready to go. Those fans, they're expecting that from the very first minute that you step on the field, you are that player. You are that guy. You're taking players on, breaking people down 1v1 situations, going to the end line, cutting inside, creating for yourself, creating for others. And it just wasn't happening early on for Eden Hazard. Then you start talking about confidence, and then do you trust your body? Do you trust your ability to do the job? It's not quite there. Then the confidence goes, and all of those things are connected. The body's not quite right. The confidence is not quite right. Physically, you're not right. Mentally, you're not right. Eventually, you find yourself once again injured. And to be honest with you, if you're a Real Madrid fan, you kind of put your arms up and say, what did we buy? Because they could not care less about what he did at Chelsea. All of that is nonsense to Real Madrid fans. You're thinking, what are you doing for us? And what we have seen you do for us, it's not very much.
Is he in danger, do you think, of losing his place next year?
Well,
with the emergence of the other players that they brought?
No, I mean, I think he's going to get an opportunity. I think but he has to be Eden Hazard. He has to be that guy. He has to be that kind of talent. Anything less than that then opens the door for somebody else. And I think we have seen in years past where players that have come into Real Madrid with a big resume and big expectations, whether it's because of injuries or what have you, they've come up short and they've moved quickly from those guys. Say a guy like Kaká, who was at the top of the world in terms of who he was in the picture of world football, and didn't quite work out, and it was just a matter seemingly of moments, and he was gone. It was almost as if he just wasn't there. Eden Hazard, I'm not quite sure that he's to that level just yet, but he's got to get going, and it's going to be a long time until he becomes the impactful player they're expecting if he's going to be out the rest of the season.
Maybe they'll just take their extra time and make sure that basically this injury turns into the summer rehabilitation as well, gets that full pre-season under him, and maybe that's his best chance.
Well, yes, but guess what? We got Euros. And he's going to go play with Belgium. So then do you give him a rest after the Euros? And then you're saying, well, you know, heavy legs and what have you. Well, legs haven't been all that heavy. He hasn't played all that much for Real Madrid. And so you get in that sort of, well, what's more important, the Euros or your preparation for the season with Real Madrid? And he's going to go into the Euros. I think that would be his priority now. Let me get ready for the Euros. And that's what he's looking at. And I'm guessing if you're Belgium and Roberto Martinez, you're sitting there hoping that he is right for that competition, because let's not forget, Belgium is one of the favorites going into the tournament.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week, subscribe to ESPN+.